A position with either your knees together or your knees apart. You can walk your hands out in front of you, or you can have them down by your sides if that feels better. And I'm not going to go all the way just so I can make sure that you can hear me. And as you arrive in your child's pose and on your mat, see if you can just allow everything else that's going on, all the craziness, all the work you have to do, all the work you've already done, whatever's going on at your house, to just fade away into the background for this next 45 minutes. This time, this practice really teaches us that we are able to work through and overcome uncomfortable situations, which is what we're experiencing now. And we can learn that in yoga through physical movement and through staying in physically uncomfortable situations, but that also translates off your mat. So see if you can move with that intention today, that when things are uncomfortable or hard or challenging, you're growing from them, you're learning from them. Take a big breath in, and then open your mouth, take a big breath out. Couple more like that, big breath in, big breath out. One more, deepest breath. Fill your belly with air as you inhale. And as you exhale, press the air out of your lungs. Allow yourself to return back to your normal breath. And as you do, you might just scan your body and notice where you are experiencing tightness or tension. And it's just to notice, not to judge or feel bad about places where you are achy or tight. It's just to be aware. Next time you inhale, press into your palms. Start to wave forward towards a modified plank with your knees down on the ground. And once you get there, press yourself right back into your child's pose. Inhale, wave forward, round through your spine. And exhale, arch your spine, press yourself back. Couple more like that, just rocking forward and back. You might even close your eyes. Sorry about that plane. And then eventually, start to find your modified plank with your knees down on the ground. And see if you can make your whole upper body into one long line. Spread your fingers wide. And then nice and slow, lower all the way down onto your belly. And when you get there, untuck your toes. Take your fingertips out wide. Tent up onto them like you have like butterflies or cupcakes underneath your fingers. Elbows are wide. Inhale, lift your chest for wide cobra. And drop your right shoulder towards the center of your mat. Look over the left. Come back to center. Drop your left shoulder, look over the right. Come back to center. Just keep switching it out, moving side to side. Just allowing the front of your body to really open up in ways that it probably hasn't if you've been spending a lot of time on your computer, which you have. Once you're even, start to come back to center. Slowly lower all the way down. And slide your hands back in so that they're underneath your shoulders. Bend your knees, press back through child's pose. Then we'll walk your hands all the way in and find a comfy seat on your knees. When you get there, if it's okay, you can come onto your shins, tuck your toes under, and you're gonna get a big stretch through the arches of your feet. And then, Inhale to lift your arms. Exhale, we'll find a twist towards the right side. Come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Come back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Maybe this time you find a little back bend. Your hand can come to your heel or to your low back. Just start to reach towards the back, but keep pulling your ribs together. Then start to come back to center, reach your arms. Exhale, twist to the left. Stay right here or start to find that arch through your spine. And then start to come back to center. Reach your arms high. Both hands down to the mat. Untuck your toes and just start to pat out your feet. Really beat them out. Let the blood flow back into the toes. And eventually set both of your feet down. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, pull your chin to your chest, round through your spine. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, pull chin to chest, round. Take a couple more rounds of this cat and cow at your own pace. You can add in any other movements that feel right, wiggles, maybe wrist stretches, maybe hip circles. And eventually, once your spine starts to feel warm, come back to a neutral tabletop position. And we'll just do a little core integration as we're starting to work towards like some inversion preps. So right foot behind you, flex straight down, start to float your heel up. Both your hips should be pointed straight down towards the ground. Then reach your left arm forward if you have room, bicep by your ear. Extend really long, inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee, crunch it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Hold. Really pull your elbow towards your knee and protract your shoulders, create space. Send it long, inhale. Set your left hand down, your right knee down. Then one round of cat and cow, drop your belly, round through your spine. And then come back to neutral before we do the other side. Tuck your toes under. As you exhale, you lift your knees up off the mat, and then you set them back down on your inhale. Exhale, lift, lower. Exhale, lift, lower. And as you lift, you're creating space between your shoulder blades, and you're pulling your belly up and in. And if that feels okay and you want to make it harder, you can untuck your toes, and as you exhale, press into the tops of your feet and see how much you can straighten your legs. That might be a lot on your feet, but then you just tuck your toes. Next time, have your knees set down. Come back to neutral, we'll do the other side of that balance. So left leg long behind you, flex your toes straight down. Right arm forward, spread your fingers, bicep by your ear. Exhale, crunch it in, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch, hold. Send it long, set your hand down, set your knee down. One more round, cat and cow, drop your belly, round your spine. One more like that. I know I said that before, but one more. All right, then one more just core integration drill in table here. So tuck your toes under, then we'll hover your knees off the mat for a little turbo dog. Bring your right knee towards your right tricep, then step it back. Left knee, left tricep, step it back. Keep going, you're just stepping it out forward and back. You're gonna start to really feel it in your shoulders. Pull your belly in, pull your ribs together. Use your breath, use your exhale. Next time you're even, we'll find that little hovering turbo dog hold. Gaze forward, inhale. Exhale, straighten your legs. First time, downward facing dog. So you might pedal out your feet. Might wiggle side to side, maybe sway forward and back. And eventually start to find stillness in your downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit so that your hips can go a little higher. Press your heels towards the ground, but they never have to touch. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rise onto your toes. Bend your knees, look forward. Little steps all the way to the top of the mat, forward fold. When you get there, inhale, lift up halfway, get long through your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way up, reach your arms high. Then exhale, right back down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back, find your plank. So in your plank, you can always drop your knees down and untuck your toes, or you keep them lifted, nice and slow. We're gonna lower all the way down onto your belly. This time, your hands stay right underneath your shoulders. Inhale, peel your chest up off the mat. Little baby cobra, you should still be able to wiggle your fingers. Gently lower down, curl your toes under. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward. Maybe a little bigger steps this time, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up to stand, reach high. Then exhale, we'll take it right back down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands. Step your opposite foot back first this time, then the other one, plank pose. Nice and slow, we'll lower all the way down one more time. Then press into your hands, straighten your arms a little bit more, if it serves you, for a fuller cobra expression. Then curl your toes, lift your hips, down dog. One more round of that normal sun A, rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, feet to hands, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, rise all the way up, reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back, find your plank. You can lower all the way, or you can exhale halfway, chaturanga. Sweep your chest through, press into the tops of your feet, right where your toes meet your foot. Then roll over your toes or flip them, downward facing dog. You have another round of that sun A, but you can add in anything you want. So rise onto your toes, bend your knees. Any way you want to get there, forward fold. And then take whatever you need to make your way back to downward facing dog. Let me take my socks off. And once you do find downward facing dog, pedal out your feet a couple more times. Then bring your toes to touch. Rise up onto them. Bend your knees. Look forward, hop or step. Feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we'll sink into a chair pose. Reach your arms or your hands can stay at your heart, your choice. Now, you want your spine to be as flat as you can get it, so your tailbone is slightly tucked under. Weight is in all four corners of your feet. It's gonna wanna be more in your heels, but see if you can shift forward just a tiny amount. Take one more breath in. Forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your right foot back, then drop your right heel, turn your right toes towards the top corner of your mat. Lift your arms, warrior one. So you wanna feel that your hips are squaring off towards the front. Your shoulders are square too. See if you can knit your ribs together a tiny bit more. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down to frame your left foot. Come onto the ball of your right foot. And then see if you can step your left foot back as you lower down towards the mat, chaturanga, or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, feet to hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, then sink your hips, chair pose, second round. So maybe this time you can sit a tiny bit lower. Imagine you're squeezing like a block or a tennis ball in between your inner thighs. So you're finding some engagement there in your quads. Breathe in. Breathe out. Forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hand, step your left foot back. Drop your heel, point your left toes to the top left corner of your mat. Then reach your arms, warrior one. So again, you can physically square off your hips. Make sure you move your feet to accommodate your hips. Then reach your arms. Active through your fingers. Your poses start in your fingers and your toes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hands come down. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Then see if you can step your right foot back and lower at the same time. Inhale, open up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees. Look forward, use your core. Step or you hop, feet to hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, then sink and reach, chair pose. All right, so this time we're gonna hold this for a little bit longer because our intention today is working through uncomfortable situations, and this one is pretty uncomfortable. So see if you can sink 1 inch lower. See if you can close your eyes. And if you really want movement, you can start to find a little lift and a little lower in your hips. Take one more breath in, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, release. Take turns bending into each of your knees. And inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Again, right foot will step back, plant your heel, lift your arms, warrior one. So this time we're gonna add on a little bit. Start to cactus out your arms, pull your elbows towards the back and get broad through your collarbones. So this is a really nice counter for all of the hunching over that we've been doing these past couple weeks. Breathe in. Breathe out, hands clasp at your low back. Pull your fist down, then exhale, hinge forward into humble warrior. That left shoulder tracks to the inside of your left thigh. Press down with your feet to rise up through the upper body. Reach your arms overhead. Then we'll find dragonfly twist. So right hand down, left arm towards the sky. Come onto the ball of your right foot if you haven't already. Lower your knee down and then lift it right back up. 2 more like that. Lower, lift, lower, all the way down. Then we'll kickstand your right foot out towards the right. Sweep your left arm or left leg behind you for modified side planks. You can stay here, or the inside of your foot can come all the way down to the ground, or you can find a quad stretch, bend your knee, take your hand to the top of your foot. Gently start to release your grip. We'll bring the inside of your left foot down, and then your whole left foot. Bend your left knee, rise up into gate pose, and then we'll reach up and back, reverse, just like you would in warrior, just a modification. Then exhale, start to tick-tock it back forward, kick your left leg behind you, then we'll square your shoulders, square your hips into a 3-legged tabletop position. Walk your hands forward about 2 inches. Exhale, lower halfway, lift your leg a little higher. Press up, lower, lift. Last one, lower, hold, a little space between your elbows and the sides of your body. Then press it up, left toes down, right toes behind you, 3-legged plank. Then you can make this a 3-legged flow. You can make it a regular flow. You can skip the flow and just go straight to down dog. And when you find down dog, breathe in. Bend your knees, breathe out, step or hop, feet to hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. And this time we'll start to step your left foot behind you. Drop your heel, turn your toes towards the top left corner. Lift your arms, warrior one. Start to cactus out your arms, but keep your elbows in line with your shoulders. Press your chest forward. Breathe here. Feel like someone's pulling your elbows back. And release your hands to your low back. Put the opposite thumb on top. Inhale, open through your heart. And exhale, start to hinge forward, humble. Root down through your feet. Relax your face and your jaw. Then press down to rise up. Reach your arms overhead. Dragonfly twist, left hand down, right arm high. Then drop your left knee to tap, lift it back up. Tap your knee, lift. Last time, lower all the way down, and then you might kickstand it out just a little bit. Some people don't need to, but I do. And then sweep your front leg behind you for a modified side plank. So again, you can have your foot all the way down. If you do that, really press into the outside of your foot so you get a big opening. Or your leg can be lifted, or you can find the quad stretch. Bend your knee, take your hand to the top of your foot. And if you have your foot, start to release it. Then we'll set your whole foot down, but keep your knee bent. Rise up, reverse it, gate pose. Inhale here, breathe into the front side of your body. And then as you exhale, left hand down, lift your right leg. And then we'll square towards the mat, shoulders and hips. It might feel nice to curl your left toes under, or you leave them untucked. Just see what feels better for your knee. Then lower. Exhale, press up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, hold. So this is the prep for chin stand. And if you were going there, you would start to lift that back knee. And then we'll press back up. Set your back toes down. Lift your left toes behind you, flex them. Three-legged flow or a regular flow or no flow. You just skip it and you find down dog. From here, let's drop the knees just for a moment. And we'll walk your hands in. So I'm going to take us here through some prep for camel or half camel, which is a pretty big heart opener and a pretty big back bend, but I feel like it's something right now that we really need because it counters all the hunching that we've been living our lives with. So we'll start with some half camel variations and then with the option to go into the whole thing. So I like to keep my toes tucked, but you can untuck yours if that feels nicer. Keeping them tucked is going to give you a little more lift and make it a little easier. Then inhale, reach your arms overhead. And then just like we did at the start, we'll find a wide arm twist towards the right. Start to bring your right hand towards your right heel. Press your hips forward, but stay engaged through your core. Then left arm sweeps down and around until it finds your left heel. Reach up and over with your right arm. Then we'll find a couple more rounds just like that. Send your hips back as you sweep forward. Then press your hips forward. Reach back. Start to swing it around. Just take a couple more rounds like this. Make sure that you're really moving with your breath here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then you can keep going exactly as you are, or if you want full camel, what happens is both your hands will come to your heels. So you'll start to square your chest towards the sky. And if you can do that, if you can peel back, square your chest, then you can bring your hand to your opposite heel and press your heart even higher and your hips further forward. Remember, it's all about listening to your body. So if it doesn't feel good, you don't do it. Then to come out and start to find child's pose, hands down by your sides this time, forehead to the mat. Just breathe into the backside of your body. Start to come back to your intentions, to your breath, to your body. Stay here for as long as you need. When you're ready to play around a little bit more, we'll come back to our tabletop position. And just take a couple rounds of cat and cow to kind of rinse out maybe some hip circles. Cat pose should feel really nice after that camel inversion. Then once you feel okay, we'll come back to our neutral tabletop and we'll do a little shoulder work that would prep you for forearm stand or headstand. And maybe it takes you there today if you're warmed up for it. But we'll come back to that little hovering table. So we'll hover your knees. And then downward facing dog. So again, shift forward, hover your knees. And then we'll drop your forearms. Maybe you drop them one at a time. Maybe you drop them both at the same time. Bring your thumbs to touch, then lift your hips, dolphin pose. You can walk your toes a little closer to your elbows. And if you want to play around a little bit more, you can start to lift one leg at a time and see what it feels like to start to shift your hips over top of your shoulders. Your head should be off the mat. You're really finding a lifting sensation through your armpits. When you're ready to come out of this, just start walking your feet all the way to the back of the mat and then drop your chest and your upper body or your lower body down. Pull your chest through. You'll be in Sphinx pose. So find a broadness through your chest, through your collarbones. And just start to roll out your head. Stretch out your neck. And then once you feel good, bring your head to neutral. And from here, we'll just start to press back to child's pose so that we can find downward facing dog. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips. And find down dog. And from here, rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And we'll sink and reach chair pose. This is your second to last chair pose. From here, we're gonna start to pull your right heel towards your right glutes. This is called flamingo. You want your knees to still be in one strong line. Your chest is coming forward just a little bit. Then see how slow and controlled you can take a step all the way to the back of your mat. Stay on the ball of your back foot and find crescent lunge. Reach your arms overhead. So put at least a little bend in your back knee so that your tailbone is pointed straight down and your core is pulling up and in. Exhale, cactus your arms, open through your heart. Inhale, reach up. 2 more like that. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus, hold. And start to twist towards the left as you open your arms wide. And now you can straighten through your back leg. Start to tip forward into your dragonfly twist. Then left elbow to your left thigh. Drop your back toes down and your back heel. You'll be in side ankle. So that left elbow is resting on your left thigh, but it's not bearing a lot of weight. It's still pretty light. Then use your obliques. Rise up. Warrior 2. So you can widen your stance here, probably. You want your front knee to press away from the midline of your body. Flip your front palm, reach forward, up and back, reverse your warrior. Exhale to side angle, left elbow towards your left thigh, reach your right arm forward, really extend your side angle. Inhale, reach up and back, reverse. Exhale, side angle, extend. You can stay exactly right here, or if you're working on a half bind or a full bind and you want to play with that, go for it. Just see if you can keep opening your chest and opening through your heart. If you're bound or if you're finding a balancing pose like Birds of Paradise, take your sweet time making your way down. And then one more time, we'll reverse our warriors up and back. Now, think about when you were in gate pose earlier on and you were reversed. It's going to be the same thing, but this time we're going to find balancing half moon. So big inhale here. Exhale all the way forward. Lift your back leg. You might have to hop it in a few times for balancing half moon. And then your top hand can come onto your top hip. That feels nicer, or maybe you find that same quad stretch you found before. You bend your knee, take your hand to your foot, and maybe you fall over, but that's okay because at least you tried and at least you learned that you can get back up. And when you're ready, you have your foot, gently release it, and then we'll start to square off shoulders and hips towards the ground for warrior three. And this is a supported warrior three with your hands down. Or you can start to lift your hands to your heart, if you have enough room for that, and open through your chest. Or you can find standing split. If you want to work on some handstand kick-ups, you can. Really press into the space where your thumb and your index finger come together and see if you can pull your left knee into your chest. But don't hurt yourself or your furniture. And when you're done playing, forward fold. Grab opposite elbows. Keep soft bends in your knees. Just hang out. And eventually, release your grip if you have it. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. You can take a flow if you want to flow, or you can skip it and just find down dog. And then from down dog, rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, travel, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. I think this is easier if you bring your toes to touch, then sink your hips, find chair pose. This is your last chair, so make it your strongest one yet. And then from here, we're gonna start to pull your left heel towards your left glute. Flex your toes, start to lean forward in your chest, almost like you're gonna go to warrior three. Then see how slow and controlled you can step all the way back, reach your arms, crescent lunge. And when you get there, squeeze your inner thighs together, squeeze everything towards the midline. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus, hold. Inhale. Exhale, start to twist, open your arms. Now you can lift up through the back of that knee. Then use your obliques, pull your core together. Start to tip over until you find your dragonfly twist. From here, your right elbow towards your right thigh. Open up, side angle. Press equally into both of your feet, rise up, warrior two. And then take a moment to really get situated here and to feel strong in this pose. So your tailbone is rooting straight down, your front knee is pressing away from your body, and your shoulders are squeezing together, but they're still relaxed. Flip your front palm, reach forward, up and back, reverse. Exhale to side angle. And this time we'll extend, reach that left bicep by your ear. Inhale, reach up and back, reverse. Exhale to side angle, and this time we'll hold. You have options if you want to work on your half bind or your full bind or a balancing pose. Or if you just want to stay right here and enjoy this opening through your hips, opening through your heart. And if you feel uncomfortable in this pose, see where you can soften. See where you can embrace that discomfort and learn from it. Then eventually we'll meet back in side angle and rise up and back one more time, reverse your warrior. Inhale here, and then on your exhale, use your momentum, balancing half moon. Really flex your lifted toes. Maybe your top arm is reaching. Maybe you find that quad stretch, it's called sugar cane. Maybe you can lift your bottom hand. Find your edge where you feel challenged. And if you have your foot, start to gently release it. Square your shoulders, square your hips. Find your warrior three, maybe supported. Maybe your hands are at your heart. Maybe you want to do some little handstand hops. Just be safe if you do. And then forward fold. Again, you can grab opposite elbows, you can sway side to side, you can bob up and down. Anything that just allows you to catch a little release. When you're done, hanging out here, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, flow or skip it, and find down dog. This time, from downward facing dog, we'll find half pigeon. And if that doesn't serve your knees, then you can find figure four on your back. But if you are going for half pigeon, we're gonna have your right knee come towards your right wrist and your right foot come towards your left wrist. And then set your back leg down. Look behind you, make sure it's extending straight out of your hip socket. And take your fingers out wide. And maybe before you hinge forward, you challenge yourself to make this really active. And you actually see if you can lift your hands. You might find that it's very intense. And if you lifted your hands gently, start to bring them back down. If you have a blanket and your hip is really far off the ground, you can put a blanket rolled up under there or a pillow for a little support. And then we'll just start to hinge forward any amount. So this is an awesome pose. We're learning about being uncomfortable. Learning about releasing, letting go, softening. If you find that you're holding your breath, can you come back to it? Can you make your inhales and your exhales the same length? One more breath in here. Breathe out, start to walk your hands in. And then just an option here to start to play with another quad stretch, and which leads to mermaid. If you want that, what will happen is your back knee will start to bend. You'll reach with your left hand for your left foot. And maybe, it's not gonna happen for me, but you can get your foot into the crook of your elbow. And then gently start to release if you have that. Hands down, and we'll shake it out however feels good. Three-legged dog, maybe just pedaling out your feet. When you're ready, we'll move to the left side. Left knee to your left wrist, left foot towards your right wrist. Then slide your right knee back a little bit. You can leave your toes tucked if you want to, or you can untuck them. Just make sure your legs come in straight out. And then maybe you challenge yourself and see if you can engage through your hips, engage through your quads, lift your hands. Lift through your pelvic floor. If you lifted your hands, start to set them back down. Walk them forward any amount. And just fold over that front hip. And see if you can keep flexing your left toes. Maybe you stack fists, make a rest for your forehead. And if you find yourself feeling some feelings while you're here, see if you can embrace them without judgment, without feeling like they're the wrong feelings to have. They're not. Take one more breath in here. Exhale, release anything you need to let go of, physically or emotionally. And then walk your hands in. An option here for that quad stretch, mermaid, prep for it. You start to reach around, and then maybe, the side is a little different for me, it's a little closer. You can start to bring your foot towards the crook of your elbow. And then mermaid is actually reaching your other hand around. Obviously not happening for me, but maybe it's happening for you. If you have your foot, gently start to release, slowly, slowly, slowly. Then we'll shake it out. Pedal it out. Then from here, let's wave forward. Lower all the way down onto your belly. And when you get there, just flip over onto your back. When you arrive on your back, we'll find a round of heart opening. One more. We already did a lot of heart opening with all the cactuses and the camel. But I feel like it's really important right now. So we'll find bridge. If you want to find wheel, go for it. But if you're going for bridge, feet are hips distance apart. Fingers are down. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift your hips. Bridge. So your inner thighs should be squeezing together but not touching. Your heels are isometrically pulling towards your shoulders. Then nestle your shoulder blades a little bit under your body to create kind of like a crevice for your spine. Super supportive. And if you want to lift higher, you can bring your hands to your low back, clasp them together, and roll up even higher through your chest. Or maybe you play with lifting a leg, rolling out that ankle, switching it out. Maybe you're just holding your bridge, and there's no right answer. Wherever you are, commit to taking one more strong breath. And then slowly lower all the way down. Windshield wiper your knees, side to side. Relax through your low back. And eventually drop both knees over towards your right side. Arms can tee out or cactus, depending how much room you have. If it's comfortable, look towards the left. And close your eyes. If you need a deeper stretch, you can apply some pressure to the top of that left thigh. Breathe into your left side. Breathe out, start to take it back to center and drop your knees the other way. Just settle into this twist, really allow yourself to melt, to soften, to release. There's nothing you have to hold on to. There's nowhere you have to be, nothing you have to do, except breathe. And start to come back to center. Find happy baby. Bring your hands to the outsides of your feet. Or maybe your calves. You can play with bending one leg and extending the other. See if you can channel the joy of an actual happy baby in this moment. The freedom, the play, the things that we often set aside and think of as unimportant, but really they're so important. And from here, if you want a shoulder stand or plow or waterfall, you can send your legs straight up towards the sky. If you do go to shoulder stand, just make sure that you really support your hips the whole way. And versions like this one are really, really good for your immune system because your lymphatic system uses gravity. And so right now you're sending wonderful white blood cells back towards your head, towards your heart. And only when you're ready, slowly make your way down. And then really support yourself if you came up into shoulder stand. And bring the soles of your feet to touch down on the mat, your knees out wide. Then bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly and close your eyes. And just come back to those feelings from the start of class of scanning your body, connecting with your breath, acknowledging where you are, what you're working towards, where you're going. And really taking a moment here to thank yourself for giving yourself this gift of time. And if you want any other poses before we rest in Shavasana, you're free to take them now. When you are ready to move to Shavasana, I'm going to switch to the last song on the playlist, which is called Saudade, which actually, I told Yoga Club this yesterday, but this Saudade is a Portuguese word that doesn't translate to English, and it means I miss you and I love you and I don't know like when I'm going to see you again. And so I just felt like it was very fitting for this class. It's a really like a beautiful nostalgic sentiment that I think goes with appreciating what you have and not always knowing what you had until you don't have it anymore. So once you've gotten yourself set up for Shavasana, again, just melt into the earth, feel entirely supported. And then just rest. This is truly the most important part of your practice, where you soak it all in, where you integrate it so that you can take it with you off your mat, so that it's not just movement, it's not just a workout. It's more. You can stay in this rest for as long as you need. When you are ready to make your way out, do it slowly and gently and with love. You might bend your knees, roll over onto one side, And pause for a moment in this fetal pose that symbolizes starting again. And acknowledge that anything you released, that you softened, that you let go of while you were practicing, you can leave it behind. And anything you gained or learned, it comes with you off your mat. And when you're ready to take it with you, start to find a comfy seat. You might rest your palms face down or bring your hands to your heart. And if you have brought your hands to your heart, just start to rub your hands together, generate some heat. And then once you've generated some heat, bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, close your eyes. And feel all those little vibrations, all that little warmth. And together, because we are together, we'll close with one more breath. Inhale. Share the love. Exhale. Thank you so much. Namaste.